So, buenos dias and good morning, everybody. I have to start with an apology because my Spanish is not good enough to deliver this presentation in your language, but Elia assured me that you all speak fluent English. Is that true? Good, good. Oh, well, thank you, Elia. No need for translation. I'm super happy to be here today. It's my first Spanish La Fede Congress, and I want to say big thanks to Elia for inviting me and giving me this honor. And it doesn't take much to, she didn't have to ask me twice because I love coming to Spain. I have a home in Murcia. I love the food and I love the people, so it really is great to be here. It doesn't feel like work, it feels like my second home. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my career. I've spent most of my life working in the great outdoors, and perhaps more notably, in recent times, I ran the international division of CBS Out of Home from 2000 to 2008. And I think there are still a few of my former colleagues, perhaps in the audience today. Certainly Borja is here. I met him last night. So if any of you remember me from those days, please do reintroduce yourself. It'd be good to see you again. After that, I spent a very, very happy 10 years working for Ocean Outdoor in the UK, which became a global leader in large format super premium digital. And I left there 2 years ago because I wanted to set up fulfill an ambition to set up an advisory service at a very high level on a global basis. And that business is called Out of Home Capital. And you'll recognize quite a few of the partners in that shot. Annie Rickard, who used to be the global head of Postoscope, and Philippe Bourdignon, who was the CEO of Clear Channel in France, and many others names. We cover Asia, we cover Europe, and we cover North America. And here today is one of my good partners, Carlos Villadeval. He's here, and he's on our global panel. And what we do is we give very high-level advice to businesses across the out-of-home ecosystem. And this is not an advisory service that's set up to squeeze or to put pressure on any aspect. It's to grow the out-of-home sector. And we currently are working for 3 European cities, 2 major out-of-home media owners, several banks who are looking to invest in the out-of-home sector. We have been retained by Broadsign as a strategic advisor. I know there are some Broadsign people here. And also we've just entered into a strategic partnership with Dentsu globally to advise their client base on any special requirements they have in out-of-home. So that's one of my passions, and this one pays the bills. This next one is my other great passion, and that's the World Out-of-Home Organization, which is a now global body with 180 members, practically in every country on the planet. We are set up really to be a force for good, to promote out-of-home globally. And our vision is very, very clear. We are focusing on sector growth. We focus on the things that will grow the sector. And you'll hear me talking about that quite a lot in the course of the next 15 minutes. And we promote initiatives that drive sector growth and present out-of-home as a force for good. It's a very important organization, and we focus on 6 main areas: measurement, social responsibility, which goes into sustainability and diversity. I'll come back to one of those in particular in a minute, but certainly diversity is a big issue, and I will be at the World Federation of Advertiser conference in Istanbul next week, and I can promise you that item will be very high on their agenda. If I look around the room here, I see that certainly from a gender point of view, it's a tick in the box as far as this audience is concerned, but I'm not sure about ethnicity and other aspects of diversity, but this issue is becoming a very big topic for our clients, and they're looking to their suppliers to make sure that they get that right. We also have a National Associations Forum. Elia will tell you that I'm a huge fan of national associations. I believe national trade associations should be front and center in every national out-of-home industry, and they should be well supported and well funded to do work that drives sector growth. And this body meets virtually every quarter to discuss items that are very specific to associations. AdTech, obviously that's a big issue and a big investment area. We promote sector growth, as I said, and also the renaissance in creativity that's being brought about, which I'll touch on also. Getting back to sustainability, I did an interview with Mark Reed of WPP recently, and WPP is one of the 6 global groups who are really focusing on sustainability. And the ad industry at agency level have introduced a thing called Ad Net Zero, and they're expecting all of their suppliers to be at Ad Net Zero by 2030, to the extent that they have said to me that they will not buy media from suppliers who are not compliant. So this is not just a question of greenwashing and doing some things to keep everybody happy. This is a really serious issue, and it's coming right up to the top of our agenda. To that point, we have just recently formed a special global task force on sustainability with very, very senior people from around the world who are going to focus on sustainability in out-of-home so that we can have a really strong case to show all the things that we're doing, all the positive things we're doing, and to keep us on track for Ad Net Zero, but also to defend us against unwarranted attacks that seem to be growing around the world in terms of the environmentalists. And there was a very, very difficult situation a few months ago in Germany that we had to fight off, where they were going to switch off all of the large format digital screens. The membership of WOO is something we're really proud of. It's like a who's who in the out-of-home business. And of course you see, there you see Lafede is, I'm just jumped ahead of myself. You see Lafede is there in that frame. We also have membership from Clear Channel, JC2Co, Global are members. But there are a lot of large Spanish companies not in this organization. And my message to you is, if you are not on that slide, you're not cool, right? So make sure you get in touch and join it. The membership is very, very nominal, and you are playing your part in a not-for-profit organization. Our board of directors provide services on an honorary basis. They give their time and they give us great direction. And our board of directors come from all over the world, from France, from US, from India, Germany, UK, South Africa, Australia, Mexico, Buenos Aires, and China. And then if you count me, you have to throw in Ireland, because I come from Ireland. And we have now grown into a phenomenally important channel in the global media scene. And this organization, the World Out of Home organization, is one of the few media channels that really has global coverage. Most of the other media associations don't manage quite to get a global organization, so we're very lucky, and we are able to get spend numbers through all our membership. And I'm glad to report that the index figures have just come out for 2022, and we are now a $42 billion channel worldwide. So 5% of total media spend is now channeled through out-of-home. It's very interesting to look at how that's broken down. There are 3 powerhouse regions. Europe is $8 billion. North America is 10 billion. But look at Asia now. Asia has climbed to 21 billion US dollars in out-of-home spend. And then the rest of the world only accounts for 3 billion. So those three areas are the big out-of-home areas. Interesting to look at the share of ADEX by region. And here, if you take a look at Europe, we're at the global average of 5% of ADEX. North America is below. It's at 3% for various other reasons, which I don't have time to go into. But look at Asia. 8% of ADEX now goes through the out-of-home channel. And here we have Spain above the European average at 6%. So well done on that metric. On the next metric, you're a little bit lower than the average, because this is the share of digital that is through the out-of-home channel. And in Europe, we're at 36%. That varies quite a bit. For example, the UK is nearly 70%. But then some countries, because of legislative restrictions, they're below the average. Spain is just a little bit below the European average, and the North American side, and pretty level with the rest of the world. So a little bit of work to do there. I don't know if the planning laws here are more difficult, but certainly it would be good to see Spain accelerating its digital conversion. This is a key slide for anyone who's planning and looking at investing in CapEx, because what it shows is from the PwC report of last year. It's a little bit out of date, that all of out-of-home is scheduled to grow in the next 5 years at a cumulative average growth rate of 4%. Now that's a really impressive number, at a time when there are strong economic headwinds. And if you look at that number just for digital out-of-home, the growth rate forecast is actually 8%. So all the more reason for investing heavily in digital conversion. So why, against that, why is everything so positive in our out-of-home world? Because we have a war in Ukraine, we have economic headwinds, we have political instability, we have energy crisis, and yet all of the commentators are saying that out-of-home will buck the trend and out-of-home will do very well going forward. So I'm going to give you the reasons why I think that's the case. Firstly, digital transformation, which I mentioned, and it's something that you could step up on. Media owner consolidation. It's a fact that in markets where media owner consolidation is strongest, those markets have a bigger share of ADEX because more investment goes in. Measurement is a very key one. I spoke with Daniel Quende last night. I know it's something that you have under consideration here. And all I will say is that it's important that the industry gets together and has an audience measurement system for the whole industry that is accepted by the advertiser side. And whatever investment is needed, we should commit to that, because again, advertisers are saying that the CFOs and the CMOs will not let CMOs buy media that isn't properly measured. So it's a very important one. And we've issued a 100-page global guideline document through the WOO to give you the framework for doing that. But every country then has to have its own special system. Automation is really making it easier to buy, and it's one of the drivers in out-of-home's growth. Having said that, I think, in my view, it's a little bit too fragmented. Too many people are doing their own bit. It's too siloed, and we need to move more into common platforms and scale platforms, but a very important part of the reason why we're successful. And this enables programmatic trading and data overlay. You can't do that if you're not properly automated. There was a time in the past 10 or 15 years when I think the creative industry, they abandoned us a little bit because of online technology, but it's now completely swung back, and the amount of interest there is from the creatives in our medium is enormous. And if you look at this terrific special build where they put a car with the lid broken into the window, these kind of creative treatments are coming back. We can do dynamic real time. That's a great example in Madrid. I always am admiring of the McDonald's situation, and you know, big is important. You can do really big stuff, and even the environment in which out of home is placed now is creative in itself. And of course, the latest darling is anamorphic. And here we have a situation where every creative wants to design an anamorphic ad. And I'm going to show you 3 ads now very quickly. First one, just to show you how an L-shaped screen, which is in Seoul, I saw it last September, it's amazing, how it can transform into something so creative. Also, I want to show you a small format for Volkswagen, because it doesn't have to be large format to do programmatic, to do anamorphic. And then a Piccadilly light example of how strong branding can be for Vodafone in that situation. So the wonderful thing about that is that when those ads go up, it might just be on one site, they get amplified across social media into annual reports and give advertisers a lot more mileage for their expenditure. Now, another reason why out of home is doing so well is a lot of money is coming out of big tech. And that money is coming out of big tech, and advertisers are looking at other places to spend that money. And the reason is, there is a definite condition called online fatigue, particularly post-pandemic. It's a recognized medical condition, and people are tuning out because of information overload. If you look at this terrific ad for Timex, I just love that copy line, which says, "No to time without seeing 1,249 unanswered emails." People are just suffering from information overload, and they want more straightforward. Airbnb, before the pandemic, decided to take all their money out of activation and put it into brand. And they've now said that it's working so well that they're going to keep putting it in brand. So the 2 big brand media are TV and out of home. So we've got to go after that money. So I think there's some wonderful opportunities for us now in out of home. I think all of our stars are aligned. And I think there's a great interest from the ad media industry because of brand safety, because of the problems that are being faced by online media. And out of home's research shows that we are a very, very trusted medium. So just to summarize, my message to you from the World Out of Home organization is to prioritize sustainability. I have it on top of the list. Ensure the audience measurement systems you invest in have the right efficacy and they're accepted across the clients and the agencies alike. Develop more integrated tech and data systems and continue transforming inventory into digital. Those are the key steps to drive sector growth, and work closer together on initiatives. I've been massively impressed with Elia. She's a really strong leader of your association, and you know, put more of your initiatives. Take 10% out of all your marketing budgets and put them into the association, and do some global industry initiatives that will grow the sector. Because there's a clear fact that for every 1% of growth in the sector, it's 5% more profitable than silo growth. So focus on sector growth. Now that doesn't mean you will not still compete locally. Of course you will compete locally on tenders and so forth, and that should continue. But there's so much you can do together, and please focus on that in terms of sector growth. So this is the point. People say to me, well, we're too small, to make a difference, or the big guys say, well, why should we teach the small guys how to do it? Why should we collaborate? And that's the answer, because when the tide rides, it lifts all boats and it lifts the sector, and that's what we've got to do together. So I finish off by just saying we have a World Congress coming up quite near you in Lisbon on the 7th to the 9th of June. We hope some of you will come. There are going to be lots of great learnings, lots of great presentations, lots of great networking. And I would just like to say thank you very much for bearing with me in English, and I hope at least I gave you some food for thought. Thank you very much.